Hey everybody, welcome. It is Thursday evening and we're so thrilled to be back with you. Today we're actually in a botanical gardens. It's supposed to be, I couldn't pronounce the location, so I can't tell you, but it's supposed to be the world's largest botanical garden and it's in Netherlands. So I thought it was just gorgeous. I don't see any daisies out there in this picture, but I just thought that it was just very fitting. Actually, Alan says, he said it looks kind of like our front yard, which is a gross exaggeration, but I do have a lot of flowers because I love them. So anyway, welcome back. So happy to be here and so happy to, I want to say see you guys here. I wish I could see you. That would be so much more fun. But anyway, gosh, it's always so great to see everybody coming on a little bit early, and I love that there's always some interaction happening, all the hellos and everything, and it's really nice. We go through, we kind of keep our eye, as we're testing things, we kind of keep our eye on who's coming in and stuff, and it's really nice. So I want to give a little shout out to a few people here. Sandy, hey girl, good to see you here. Susan, Whitey, and Dixie Clueless Howell? I'm going to go with Dixie Howell. Kathy Myers and Cindy Patty, so good. Vanessa, I see Vanessa Middleton is here. Who else is out here? Let me see. Beth Falone, Denise Bryant, hey, Maureen, and Jen Ray. I think, was it Jen? Are you the one that said that we were going to be in some beautiful garden or something somewhere? I know somebody said it. Elizabeth is here. She's been playing with the set that she got from HSN. So fun. Awesome. So many people. It's so good to see everybody. I don't know if you guys took a moment to go out to Instagram or not. I mentioned it on Tuesday. We're part of the Stamping Village. We're one of the 12 members of the Stamping Village. Very, very proud to be a member. It's a fantastic group of companies and people. We are all about, working together, supporting each other, and, all for the betterment of our industry and our crafty community. And to that end, we do these wonderful stamp sets that we all contribute to. And the most recent one is this one here, and it's called We Stand With You. And we put this together. It's really interesting, with everything. I'm not going to get all political, so I don't want you to worry about that. But I find it very interesting. I've been doing a lot of listening, a lot of learning lately. My son goes to a school where, and he's 16 now. So one of the things I loved about the school, it's a very small private school, but one of the things I loved about the school from the very beginning, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's gifted. Which means that he's got a very high IQ, and which I remember when we were first told that, we were like, oh yeah, great, it's fantastic in so many ways. But the more we learned about it, and the more he grew, the more we realized and learned that what it really means is that the brain is developing in an imbalanced sort of a way. And so parts of the brain are, that's where that high IQ is. His happens to be in like mathematics and chemistry and language. And but what that means is there's an imbalance, and so the other part of the brain isn't developing as fast. And so then there's going to be some deficiencies, some areas where he's not only not as strong, but underdeveloped. And so he goes to a school for gifted children, which is absolutely fantastic. And what it means is that every child there has some real exaggerated strengths and then some deficiencies. I hate that word, but they're not weaknesses. I don't really know what else to call them. But there's some deficiencies that are also underdeveloped, that are also a little exaggerated. And so, which brings me to the point of the story. Part of the philosophy of the school and the teachings of the school, and this is one of the things I loved from the very, very beginning, they teach the children we're all the same, we're all different. And what that means is that they celebrate not only all the things that make them the same and all the things that they have in common, but they also celebrate the beauty in all the things that make them different. And I think that that's just something that could really be applied to the human race in general. And so when coming up with what we were going to contribute to this particular stamp set, the one thing that stood out to me is a quote by Nelson Mandela, where he said, "May your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears." And that, to me, it's just one of those full circle kinds of things. That has so much to do with, it made me really think about my son. It made me think a lot about my mom, because my mom had MS for many, many years. And when she got to the point where she, and I know I'm rambling, but when she got to the point where she was walking so poorly on her own that she had to have a brace on her leg, people would look at her and they'd look at her kind of strange, and they would be afraid to ask her what happened or what was going on. And that was something that drove her nuts. She would just say, "Why don't they just ask me?" And so that kind of plays into this. May your choice reflect your hopes and not your fears. You know, don't make decisions or judgments and things like that because you're afraid of something that is different or someone that is different and so on. Try to embrace our differences. And so that was why I chose that quote. Anyway. So hopefully you guys got to already take a look at the Instagram hop, because it is absolutely fantastic. And we've invited some wonderful crafters in our community to join us and celebrate this particular stamp set that has a lot to do with what is going on in the world today. Again, I'm not going to get all political, but this is, I think this is probably one of the most meaningful sets that we've put together so far. And the card that I did, I'm going to switch the camera real quick because we're going to get started here. So the card that I did is this one right here. And I chose to work with our Daisies stamp set with this. All right, so I wanted to work with the quote, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." And I wanted to have something beautiful alongside this beautiful sentiment. And so I chose to work with Crazy for Daisies because I had not worked with this little corner piece yet. And I thought that it would just be beautiful. I didn't want characters and critters and things on this. I just wanted beauty. So then I also pulled our plaid stencil, and I decided to make it a slimline using the slimline corner scallop. And I did a very quick little video kind of taking you through really quickly how the card was put together. And I thought for today, because everybody always says, you know, whenever you do these really quick, short little videos, "Oh, you know, I couldn't really see this, I couldn't see that. Can you show me the longer one?" And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to talk about what I did, and we're going to make another version of this tonight. Got a couple of questions coming in. We also have a giveaway, by the way, every time if you're new here. So we have a giveaway every time. We choose the winner from all the comments. So make sure you're leaving comments. And I always say feel free to ask me just about anything. I would say this again, based on everything that's going on in the world today. We love your comments. We love almost anything you have to say. What I do ask of everybody is that, be kind. It's not that we don't want to hear your honest opinion. Just be kind. We haven't been getting nasty comments or anything like that, and I don't have any problem hearing opposing opinions and so on and so forth and discussing things. I just want people to be kind about what they say. That's all. So, all right, here we go. So we have a few questions my husband's putting out here. Lady J is saying, what size is the slimline die? All right. The slimline die, let me move things along here. The slimline die is, this outermost die is going to cut a base, a card base, that is 8 1/4 inches long by 3 1/4 inches wide. All right, and it's also going to give you that beautiful stitching. All right. And then you can nest the one that's on the inside. You can nest it along with it when you do your cut. And when you nest those two dies together, you're going to get this beautiful frame. And again, it has stitching on it. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. So you're also going to end up with this little piece left over, which I always saved these because it's a pretty big piece and this is a really, really great scrap piece. Now, different companies do have some different size slimlines. This happens to be my favorite size. Now, I went ahead and I got this card started just a little bit. I used my favorite, because I'm going to be working with Copic markers. We're going to color up these flowers today, and I'm working with Copic markers, which are an alcohol marker. Whenever I'm working with alcohol markers, I like to use Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, 110 pound. I actually get it from Cut Cardstock. Now, as you can see in this card, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of stenciling. I normally do not use this Neenah Classic Crest paper whenever I'm doing stenciling, because typically when I'm doing stenciling, I'm blending colors together and it doesn't blend as well on this paper. But I'm only using a single color, so it actually worked perfectly fine. It doesn't move as well on it as it does on the Strathmore, but it came out just beautiful. Lady J is also asking, how did you come up with the idea or design of Winnie? I did not. Winnie is not one of our products, actually. Winnie is a Polka Doodles project, and we have a collaboration / partnership with Polka Doodles where we do a lot of exclusive product designs and images, and one of those is her Winnie character. So, and when will we be on HSN again? Our next scheduled show is in October, and we've got some wonderful Christmas things there. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to show you what I did. Where'd my stamp set go? I'm losing things. I started this already just because I didn't want to spend a lot of time stamping. I want to get to the good stuff and get to the coloring. I should have opened that up. That was my lazy way of getting my stamp out of there. Okay, let me go like this way here. So I've got my Misty, and this is the larger Misty. I'm going to show you what I did. This particular stamp, this is the corner. It's a little corner piece. Let me move it over here in the white. It's a little corner piece, and I placed it first like this, inked it up and stamped it, moved it over, inked it up and stamped it. A third time, inked it up and stamped it. And now this last time, I'm going to go ahead and ink it up and stamp it. And you know, I'm trying to have this even in the center where I have maybe some white space and continuing the lines and making sure they're straight. But you know what, if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm going to be covering up that center anyway. And so I'm going to put my two magnets into place. I'm going to turn it this way because I have a computer that's up there. And, oh, it'd help if I picked that up. I have a computer that's up there and I didn't want that to get in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. I may have to do it a second time. Yeah, I don't think I inked it very well. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get that tiny little bit right there, just in case. All right. So, my handy dandy little cleaner. Do I have my cleaner with me? Let me see. I'm going to use my Extreme Clean stamp cleaner on this. As you can see, this does not get all the color off the stamp. These hybrid inks are fantastic in that you can use them with just about any crafting medium. But it is a combination ink, so it's a combination dye and pigment ink, which means that it has mixed qualities. Some of those qualities. One of those qualities is that it is permanent. So it is going to stain your stamp a little bit, which I really don't care about. The reason I use the cleaner on it is I want to get that extra residue off of it. One of the things about these inks is that they will reactivate each other, which is really, really great. It's wonderful for blending them and stuff like that. But I like to get that excess off of there so that when I change colors, one doesn't reactivate the other. Okay. So now we have that done. And I need to let that one dry a little bit. Again, it has mixed qualities, so I want to let it, because I have 2 coats of it on there, I want to let it dry a little bit. So in the meantime, I am going to go ahead, where's my stuff? What in the world? Okay, let me set that aside, and I'm going to deal with my sentiment here. Maureen is saying, what is your favorite flower? Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I do love daisies. I think my favorite flower used to be a rose, but to be honest with you, it has turned out to be a peony. I absolutely love peonies. Okay, let me show you everything I have here. Where's the best way to clean your stamps? Patricia's asking, right here. Extreme clean stamp cleaner. It's awesome. Here's my card base, which is just cut from regular cardstock. I don't necessarily use the good stuff, which is what I used here. All right, for my card topper and everything, I use that Neenah Classic Crest. That is the good stuff. For my card base, it's a thinner cardstock, and I just take a letter-sized piece. I trim it so that it's only 8 1/4 across and 6 1/2 inches deep, and then I score it at 3 1/4. And that's all there is to that. Now, I have my extra little pieces here, and I want to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to grab a different sentiment out of the set, and I was kind of thinking about, this is where I've been playing a little bit. I grabbed this die set, and maybe you guys can help me with this. I grabbed this die set, which is my Practically Square frame set. I love it, and I thought I would use this scalloped piece here, but trimmed. What I'm thinking of doing is putting my sentiment on here and having the sentiment come in from the top of the card, so it would actually come in like this. I would trim that and just put my sentiment in here and have that up a little bit. And I thought that would be really pretty until I had this piece, which was my leftover. And then I had, oh, where is it? I don't have it right now. It's my scalloped rectangle. And I trimmed, or I used the second die to cut this piece, and I thought, what if I layered that one in like that? That gives me even more dimension. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering which one you like better, because I don't know which one I like better. I kind of like this because it gives me that same corner. This is how it would look in the end. Is like that. And then I would have that same scallop corner that you see here, which I think is just beautiful. I think I'm leaning toward that. The other option, is anybody saying anything? Is anybody helping me? The other option is this, which I'm not sure is, I don't think that's quite as cohesive. I think I'm going to go with the other option.
Second one, it looks amazing. I like layers.
Okay, we're going to go with that one. I think it looks better. It has the same kind of design on it. So that means that I need to figure out where this all is going to go. And I need to figure out which sentiment. I think I want to use this sentiment here, which says, "We are better together." This sentiment is Alt News Design. And I think it's really pretty. So I'm thinking of putting the sentiment here. So this is the process that I go through. I lay these things out and try and figure out what I want to do. One of the things I really love is this piece right here. It's just some little leaves. And I'm thinking of putting these little leaves like that maybe. I don't know. I feel like it should go across more. I don't know if that's filling up the space well enough. Let's see. What other pieces do I have in here? We have this, which is really nice, but I don't want a whole lot of color over here to compete with what's going on over here. I do like these hands, but that really works nicely with that particular sentiment. Maybe I just move that up like that. Oh, I have an idea. All right, I'm going to put the leafy one away. See, this is why I generally prepare a little bit better beforehand, because I could spend, it takes me a while to figure out. I like these little hearts that are here, and I think that little hearts might be nice underneath here, underneath the sentiment. So it's this little heart stamp right here. That I think is part of the Avery L. That's what I'm going to do, and I think I'll lower that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this stamped. Now that I've positioned it, I've figured out what I want to do and where I want it to go. Let's move these pieces out of the way. And let's see. Do I have, Alan, can you do me a favor? Will you grab me the ink pad back there that is the tickled, it's tickled pink. It's behind the green screen. Can you do that? I know. It's going to be on that other side over there. Yep, it's tickled pink, because I think I want to give my hearts some color. Let's slide this up a bit. So I'm going to set the hearts aside. See if I can get this straight. I'm trying not to get my head in the camera. It's really hard to make sure everything is straight when I can't put my head over it. So I'm crossing my fingers there. Thank you. Oops. Oopsie, Alan just...
We got a 12 by 12 paper pack for sale.
Oh, you're funny. He's stepped all over a 12 by 12 paper pack. So here we go. That looks really good. Brand new stamps. So I'm going to give it one more. What?
Sorry, have you received the re-inker yet?
Oh, no, we have not received the re-inkers yet.
You did get a big shipment.
There, that looks really great. Okay, so let's use my cleaner. Clean that up. Now the re-inkers are coming, but they're going to be, well, they will be in the second half of the year, which we're already in, but where is my stuff? Do you ever have one of those days where you just feel like a little disheveled, like you can't find your things, you feel a little disorganized? I'm having one of those right now. Okay, so there's the we are better together, and I'm going to put these little hearts under here. And so I stamped the sentiment in the raven, and now I'm going to use tickled pink. I think that's what this is. Yep, he grabbed the right one. Tickled pink for these hearts. I should have rubbed those because, again, it's a brand new stamp. I always try and remember to kind of rub over the stamp a little bit with my finger, because it helps that the first ink up to take better. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this. There we go. you know, look, you can see it's pretty good. I mean, as long as you clean it right, whoops, as long as you clean it right away, you're going to get most of that color off, as long as the color isn't too dark. Alrighty, let me put this aside. I always like to put these things back if I remember. All right, so I think that is going to be really pretty. It's going to be a white on white kind of a look, but I think it's going to be really, really pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on this one. Oh, you know what I forgot, Alan? I forgot my yellow. Will you give me a Y? Give me Y15 in my Copics up there.
Oh, I don't know, I found it.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I wonder if I can zoom this in.
Ooh,
Can you zoom it in?
I can zoom it in.
I'm going to go ahead and get this colored. It's a very, very quick color.
How far do you want to zoom?
That's good. That's plenty.
As far as it goes.
So it's a really quick color. This is Y15, or 1.5 technically. And the hybrid ink is an ink that you can use with your watercolor paints. You can stamp on glossy surfaces. You can use it with your alcohol markers. You know, I always tell everybody it is one of your best tools. Another tool to keep in mind is your paper. Make sure that you are using the right paper for the application that you're doing. So use a watercolor paper for watercoloring and so on. I am using this Nina paper here because it's fantastic with your alcohol markers. So I'm just going ahead and putting my yellow in here. I have these little flowers and some that are about to bloom. Almost missed these over here. I'm just dabbing it in a little bit. All right, so very, very simple there. My next color, I'm going to go ahead. This one that I chose is G12. And I am going to do, I really wanted the blue to show up in this a lot. So I didn't want to do these little leaves back in here in the blue. I decided to do them with the green, just so there's a tiny little hint of green. And I'm just going to add or dab a little bit of color into each one of these. So it's not real strong, it's not going to overpower. You almost don't even know that it's there. Like it's there, but your eye isn't grabbing it. Leaving a tiny little bit of white. If I go outside the lines, I don't worry about it. It's just a very loose and simple way of coloring. Did I get them all? Sometimes takes a moment to look them over. And then my next two colors I'm going to use are BG01 and BG02. I really love these. They're beautiful soft blues. And I'm going to tackle each of these bigger leaves with this beautiful blue. Do we see blue leaves in nature? No. Do I care? No, not at all. It's art. I'm not trying to create something realistic. I'm just trying to create something that I think is beautiful. So I'm just brushing on a little bit of color, starting at the base of each of these leaves, and just kind of flicking out toward the end, leaving the tips white. because it's almost like they're natural instant little highlights. And I'm not really paying too much attention to where the light source is or anything like that. I'm just assuming that it's just dead on, you know, from the front. And now I've got BG02, and I'm just going to add a little bit over BG01, but I'm not going to go up quite as high with that color, or I'm not going like as far out with it. So that kind of gives you that effect that the light is kind of hitting the tips where the color is the softest, and it's almost like a natural shadow at the base of each of these leaves. Alan's typing. That means that we might have some questions.
No, Liz Vargas has joined us.
Liz is here. Liz is a brand new grandma. Congratulations, Liz. Yay. There we go. And now for the actual daisy itself, I chose to work with grays because I wanted this daisy to remain white. So I wanted to work with neutrals because I didn't want there to be a hint or an undertone of blue if I went with the cools, or an undertone of brown if I went with the warm grays. So I went with a neutral, which is it's more of a true gray or true black. So I've got N0, 1, and 3. I always start light and go up to dark. That's just the way I learned. I'm literally only, you can see where one of these petals overlaps the other. And that's where I'm putting my little bit of color. If this, like this petal here is straight on, it overlaps the other two. So I'm putting a little bit of color on both sides of it, just a little, and I'm not going too far out. If there's like a little V area, that's where my my shadow is going. So I'm literally just bringing this color up around those sides just a little bit. Kind of a quick flick. You don't want to drag it for very long because then oops, I went off camera. If you're dragging it, your color is not going to, it's not going to be intense and then fade out. So a quick flick of your marker means it's going to be more intense where you put your brush down, and then it's going to fade out as you lift that marker up. And with every flick, you flick up, like out and up. And that makes certain that it's going to be darker where you began and lighter where you finish. So now I've gone up a color to N1. And if you're not familiar with the markers, I always use the brush tip. The other side is a chisel. People have said to me, do you ever use the chisel? And you know what? I don't think I've ever used a chisel. That's not to say you can't. I just haven't had cause to do so. So now I'm adding color just a little bit right over the same areas, but I'm not flicking up as far out. So this just intensifies the color at the base where I started each of these. Try and keep these on camera, I'm sorry. And notice, instead of twisting my hand around, I'm twisting the paper. And then I go to N3. And this is going to be even less. Literally just a tiny little touch of that darkest gray on each of these petals, right where that color begins, right in the center there. So you can just see how that flower comes to life and comes together very, very quickly. I think it's so pretty. Looks like a lot of work, but it's really a very, very quick color. Okay, so the next step is a little bit of stenciling. So I've got my little scrap piece of paper. We need to go back out, Alan.
Okay.
Just a little bit, I think, maybe.
Normal.
Maybe not quite as far. That's good. That's good. Okay, so the stencil I have is plaid. It's our plaid stencil, one of my most used stencils. And let me show you a couple of these. I don't think I've shown you this one yet. This was actually the very first card that I did with this, and I used the larger stamp. I actually used this really big, beautiful stamp in that set. And stamped it over here, and I went with the blue in the background. And then I wanted to use, like I said, the corner piece like we're doing right now, and I decided to put the green in the background, just to bring out the green, because I used the green the least on here. I'm going to go ahead and do this one again with the green, because for the same reason, I used more blue here. This blue is more vibrant, and I think if I put blue back here, it's just going to be too much blue, and it's going to be overwhelming. So I'm going to go ahead with that green, since that is my little accent color. Now the green that I chose to use is called Pistachios Aplenty, and I really love this. It's a really, really soft, beautiful green. So I always have a piece of scrap underneath. Check and make sure. This is really, really light. It's a beautiful, beautiful soft. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's very, very soft green. I mean, you can see how soft it is on the cover here. It looks much more dark here because it's very concentrated. Sharon is saying, will you be coming out with some stamp sets with a variety of animals that are in scale with each other to make scenes with? They're in action and doing things. Variety of animals that are in scale. Well, all of our sets are really like that, where they're in scale. Oh, I think I understand. So like versus like all bears, or just pandas, or just bears, or just so that there's a mix of animals. Is that what she's asking? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what we have going on right now. I can't, for some reason right now, I'm drawing a blank on what we have coming up. Let me put it this way. Great suggestion, great idea. I love that you're letting us know what you want to see. I wish I could give you an answer, but I can't. For some reason, my brain is a little stuck on what I'm doing right now. I can't think about, I'm having trouble recalling what we have coming up. Let me pull that away. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? I just think these are gorgeous. Now, remember when I told you that the colors will reactivate each other? Be careful when you come up, like I didn't mask off these flowers, which I certainly could have done. I just come up really close to them. Isn't that pretty? They're so nice. And then there's these little white areas in here. So I just lay my stencil over it, and I come up in there just a little bit. I'm not going to go over the flower that I already have in there. I'm just adding a little bit of color where I have white. So pretty. It just finishes off the card and really brings it all together. I love stenciling. I've mentioned it several times. I am absolutely addicted to it. We have the most fantastic stencils. Look how stunning that is. It's so pretty, and it just comes together so easily. All right, I am going to go ahead and wipe this up. Get my little scrap sheet out of here. Okay. Maureen, what is your favorite holiday? Christmas by far. What is your favorite crafting holiday, if different? Crafting holiday. Christmas. I would go Christmas. I love Christmas. It's the one time that our whole family comes together every year. It is my absolute favorite holiday. I love decorating for it. I love cooking. I don't love wrapping presents, but everything else I love. Okay, so now I've got to figure out where these are going to be trimmed. I think this is going to, let me go like this. I'm going to lay this in here like that, like so. Figure out, the reason I'm laying this in here is because that creates a border and it's going to shrink the amount of space that I have to display this. And I don't want to cover up so much. I'm going to have a frame of that beautiful green plaid around it. I think we're going to go here. So I have a marker here I'm going to use. I don't have like a pen, but I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to mark this right up here. And I'm not afraid to do that because it's going to be covered with this, possibly covered with it, or I might, yeah, I think it's going to be covered with it. Get my paper trimmer out. I'm going to cut these individually because I'm going to put one of them up on foam. So you can see how quick and easy this card is coming together. Now granted, it took me a little bit longer to do it when I was designing it, but I think it's really pretty. I'm going to check something here. I want to see how that's going to be. If I lay this over it like this, what I'm concerned about is popping that up on foam. If I pop that up on foam, I'm not going to be able to lay this over. So you know what? I normally like to have things up on foam, and I'm not going to do it because I've already got a little bit of a bump here, and I want to be able to put that frame over the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that flat down. I got to tell you, I really love these stamp sets. The Stamping Village stamp set, there's so many different styles and designs and things in there because we have 12 different companies represented in it. And so you can really do a lot with it. And I really encourage you to go on that Instagram hop and see what everybody did because it is fantastic. I'm telling you, no two are alike. It's so good. And then I really love this particular daisy set. I love florals, and I can tell you this, we are really going to be adding to our floral line. And I'm so excited about it because I love florals. So let me put this here so I can get a feel for where it's going to go. It's really important that I figure out where it's going to go in relation to that frame. So I'm going to put this right up against the edge. That way I know it's going to be straight. And now I remembered to grab my smaller little tape roll. So that I could run it right down this frame. Get that out of the way. It's in my way. There we go. That was the thing I was trying to have Alan reach for the other day. And I couldn't get him to figure, or to get him to understand what I needed him to do. So, okay, so here's what I do. Can we zoom this back out? There we go. I got it. Hey, I did it. My board's all crooked here. Huh?
Set it where it goes.
Okay, I think that's good. Here's what I do. I don't want to just lay this whole thing down. I know I'm not going to lay it straight. So I always put something in the way, and that's what this is. So I put that in the way so that if this thing falls out of my hand, it's not going to drop onto my card. So I like to very carefully lay one side into place, and then having that little jar or whatever it is you want to use in the way up here gives me the freedom to gently place this into its proper location. There we go. That's pretty. Completely different take on it, I think. I mean, it's a very similar card, very much the same, different sentiment, different way of doing the sentiment. I love those little hearts. I think it's really pretty. It's still a lot of white, which is one of the things I always struggle with. I always struggle with having white space. And I love the look of it, and I always want to fill it. So I've got one more thing here that I wanted to put on here. Because as you can see, the center here does not all come together perfectly because we've got space there. And so I wanted to put something in that space. And I went again to my We Stand With You stamp set, and I grabbed this beautiful little butterfly and I stamped it. And I just did a two-tone color using RV04 and RV09. And I hand cut it. So notice I left a lot of little white specks in there for little highlights. And I trimmed it just by hand. I'm just going to bend it right in the center there. And grab from my tiny, teeny, what I have left of my foam roll. I can't believe how small this has gotten. I've got to show you. Alan brought this home from the office. So I am good to go when the other one runs out. What?
The new monster.
Yeah, this is the new monster. So I'm good to go because this is the little baby roll. And you can see he doesn't have any eyelashes anymore. Alrighty. So I've got a little piece of foam I'm going to put on the back here. And that is going to be my bit of dimension on the card. Pop those wings up. Put that right into the center there. So pretty. That's my little pop of pink, and then that coordinates beautifully with the pink that I have in the hearts. So it really balances that pink. I think it's gorgeous. So the final step is to mount this onto my card base. So I got my bigger tape gun. Everybody's so quiet. No more questions or anything?
I've been scanning.
All right. So important little thing here, always make sure your card is facing the right direction. I would hate to put this down and find out that my card is going to open in the wrong direction. So I've made sure it's opening properly. I'm going to lay this down right up to the edge, There we go. Take a deep breath. Please, please, please. There we go. And there we go. It is done. So pretty. Look at that little butterfly. That dimension. How can I do that in the camera? There we go. Little wings. It's just so pretty. So here's two different versions now of the same card. And then we've even got the very first one that I did, which is right here, which I think is just as gorgeous. So pretty. So I also want to show you a couple of little things, a reminder, if you were here the other night. We have, if you haven't seen it yet, we have, it's for download. It's in the store. If you go to, I think it says Paper, Ink, and More up in the little, up in the menu, and then go down to digital templates. We have an envelope template that you can download, and you can print it perfectly on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And just make sure when you print it to 100% scale. All right, you should have options on your printer so that you could size it. And one thing I pointed out is it is not going to print to the edge. The design actually does go to the edge, but printers are not going to print to the edge of the paper. So when you trim it, just make sure you trim all the way to the edge of the paper. You know, you can see where that's going to extend out. And then the little dotted lines are where you're going to score and fold. And so I've got one here. Let me show you the paper I used real quick. We have a lot of 12 by 12 paper in the store. The one that I pulled is Sweet Sensations because I love the colors. It has the beautiful pink in here that I used. It works gorgeous with this particular, actually where's the card? With this one. It works absolutely beautifully with this card. So I have that blue in here, and then I have the pink and the yellow. So it worked really nicely. And all of these, all of them except for the Farmer's Market are double-sided. So you can see like which patterns go together. And like this particular sheet is going to have the black stripe on one side and then the floral on the other. Anyway, these are really, really beautiful. And if anybody, oh, people always ask too, are the patterns huge? And no, they're not. The patterns in our 12 by 12 papers are 1 1/4, so 125%. Only 125% the size of our 6 by 6. So in other words, the images were only increased by 25%. So you can actually cut these down into like a 6 by 6 if you want, and the patterns are still going to be sized beautifully for a smaller card. So yeah, we were very, very careful not to have really huge designs on there. So I want to show you what it looks like though. So here, I actually print directly onto my pattern paper. So I took that 12 by 12, let me turn it this way so you can see it. I took that 12 by 12 piece of paper, I just cut it to 8.5 by 11, just like this is, and I fed my pattern paper through my laser printer, and I printed it. And so you can see the pattern printed directly on there. You can still see some of it. And I literally just trimmed the 4 corners off of there with scissors. It only takes like a minute, seriously, for like all 4 sides. And then this is what you get. The top part here is your flap. Oh, and then if you have, let me back up. When you're printing, make sure you print it on the side that you want to be on the inside of the card, because that's where you want the lines to be. You don't want to see them on the outside of your card. So I had this little ice cream cart, snack cart, that I didn't want to be on the outside. I wanted to have that black check on the outside. And so I printed on that side, take the bottom flap, just like this. Watch how quickly this comes together. Bottom flap, and then put the left flap over it, or the right, it really doesn't matter which one you start with. And then come on the remaining side, come down the side and across the bottom, tape it into place, and now you have your envelope. That's all there is. That's it. Now you have a beautiful envelope that you can take and decorate it. Look how pretty that looks together. Isn't that gorgeous? Looks great. So there's that one. I also have this one. So this one has a beautiful stripe on the inside. You know, if you don't use double-sided paper, you're just going to have white on the inside, and that's fine. So I made this one to go with that, actually, like that. Isn't that pretty? And then with this one, I've got this beautiful check. And let me show you how perfect these fit. Right in there. You've even got a little bit of extra space in there that slides over. So if you do have a slimline die, like ours are 3 1/4, I'm guessing you could probably fit a 3 1/2 inch wide one in there. You know, you could just score it a little bit differently and make it wider if you want. But look how cute. I just love them. It's completely free on the store. You do have to go through the checkout process, but it's not going to, and I think you even have to click pay now, but it's not going to process a payment. You can throw it into your cart with anything else that you purchase as well, and at the end of that process, it'll give you a little download button, and you can download it, and you're good to go. Completely free. So we thought that would be really fun for everybody. Isn't that gorgeous? I love these. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, we've got to do a giveaway, don't we? How much time we got? Oh, we are running out of time, gang. How does the time go by so fast? Oh my gosh. I look up at the clock and I'm like, really? Okay, let's see. What are we giving away today? How about we give away one of our Stamping Village stamp sets? Yay! We'll do that. So, hopefully you've been leaving comments, asking questions, doing something so that we know that you're there. Because if you don't leave a comment, we have no idea you're there. So, the giveaway today is going to be one of the Stamping Village We Stand With You stamp sets. It's a fantastic stamp set. I absolutely love these. They're so much fun. So, Alan, drum roll, please. Who is our winner?
Oh, give me a second. I got to count here.
He's looking. He's looking. Everybody raising your hand. Raise your hand. Give a shout out. So, our winner today is Donna Lubliner Jet. Donna Lubliner Jet.
Who's Jet? Joan Jet.
Joan Jet? I don't think that's it. So Donna, you're our winner today. Congratulations. Streamers. Okay, anyway. So Donna, I need some information from you. Do me a favor and send us an email at customerservice@ldrscreative.com, and I need to have your complete shipping mailing address so that we can get your stamp set out to you right away. Yay! Can't wait to see what you make. Everybody, when you get your prizes, you know, when you get your packages, if you order product, whatever it is, do me a favor, please. Join our Facebook group because we love seeing the stuff that you guys make. Our designers are out there. We're putting inspirational stuff out there all the time. We're always out there looking to see what you guys are making because that's what's most fun for us. I mean, we love crafting and everything, and we love showing you what we can do. But even more so, we want to see what you guys can do. We want to see how you guys are using your imaginations, your creativity, and how you're seeing these products and how you're putting them together. So please share them on our Facebook group. Also, check us out on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We've got amazing things that go out on Instagram, and we've even got more videos than these lives that go out on YouTube. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you're going to always be notified when we put videos out, and we put them out all the time. So that way you won't miss anything. So please, please, please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. It's important that we know that you guys are there, that you guys are liking us, and that you like what we're doing. So. Anyway, what?
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday! I almost forgot. Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, Saturday. I can't remember exactly what time, but I will be posting it. We're going to be putting all the information out. It's a Christmas in July, so we're going to be participating. It's on their YouTube channel. It's going to be streamed on their YouTube channel as well as their Facebook group, Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at Home. We've been doing these for, I think, a couple of months now, and it's been so much fun. We've always got a show special that's fantastic, and we're going to be putting some bundles in the store as well. And so there's always going to be a coupon and special discounts and things like that you can only get if you attend their event. And then when you come to our store, you're going to see some really fun bundles. So that's pretty exciting. I think that's all we got. I think we are done. So Donna, please make sure you send us an email. I need to have your shipping information so we can get your prize out to you. And we will hopefully see you guys on Saturday, Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. We will be online and we'll be communicating throughout the show so you can ask questions and stuff. We're always excited to see you guys there. And then we'll also see you here next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. So thanks everybody. I had so much fun. I hope you enjoyed seeing this project in greater detail. It's a really fun and beautiful project. I hope you guys will give it a shot. Thanks so much and bye for now.